If I asked most people what VO2 max actually is, they'd usually say something like it's cardio fitness or it's how long you can run. But that's not actually what VO2 max measures. VO2 max is one of the clearest measurements we have of how capable your body is at creating energy while it's under stress. And that matters because life itself is an energy demanding process. Your brain needs oxygen, your heart needs oxygen, your muscles need oxygen, your immune system needs oxygen. And the more responsibility you carry, the more stress you experience, and the more your physiology needs the ability to produce energy efficiently. What makes VO2 max so important is that it's not measuring one organ, it's measuring how well your entire system works together. Your lungs, your heart, your blood vessels, your mitochondria, your muscles, your nervous system. VO2 max is essentially asking, how effectively can this human, you, convert oxygen into usable life energy? And the answer to that question turns out to predict lifespan incredibly well. I want to explain what your body is truly measuring during a VO2 max test and why understanding this changes the way you think about health forever. If you're a CEO, founder, physician, or someone responsible for serious outcomes, pressure isn't occasional, it's constant. People, capital, and consequences sit on your shoulders every day. While running a manufacturing company, I assumed discipline alone would carry me through that pressure. It didn't, and eventually I broke, suffering a multitude of serious health problems. Because stress accumulates, and if your physiology can't buffer that load, performance eventually drops. I'm Todd Vande Hei, CEO of Stark. I've operated at scale where the margin for error was thin, so my health had to perform, but did not. And if you carry real responsibility, your health isn't a hobby, it's infrastructure. Here we talk about how high-performing leaders build optimal health that can handle the pressure their lives demand. So when the stakes rise, their physiology rises with it. Quick note before we dive in, this podcast is for educational purposes only. It's not medical advice. Always work with your physician or qualified healthcare provider before making changes to your training, nutrition, medications, or health protocols. So let's talk about what VO2 max actually means. VO2 max stands for volume of oxygen consumed at maximal effort. More specifically, how much oxygen your body uses during intense exercise, not breath, use. That distinction matters enormously because oxygen entering your mouth means nothing unless your body can transport it and convert it into energy. Your body is essentially one giant energy factory, and or hopefully not too big. And oxygen is one of the primary ingredients needed to create large amounts of ATP, your body's energy currency. Without oxygen, your body can still produce energy, but not efficiently. And that's why low oxygen environments are exhausting, like climbing a mountain. That's why you breathe heavily during intense exercise. And that's why VO2 max becomes such a powerful measurement. It tells us the upper limit of your body's aerobic energy production system. Or said another way, what is the maximum amount of energy this human can sustainably generate using oxygen? That's a massive question biologically. So the best way to understand VO2 max is to think of it as a city. Imagine a giant city during peak demand. Every building needs electricity, hospitals, traffic systems, factories, data centers. Now imagine the electrical grid supplying that city. VO2 max is essentially measuring how much total power can this city generate and distribute when demand is the highest. If the grid is weak, everything struggles under stress. Brownouts happen, systems fail, performance drops. Your body works the same way. VO2 max is measuring the strength of your internal energy infrastructure. And this is why people with low VO2 max often experience fatigue, low resilience, poor recovery, brain fog, poor stress tolerance, reduced physical capability, because the energy grid itself is weaker. And here's why this gets really fascinating. I mean, I think all of this stuff is fascinating, but this is why it really gets fascinating. VO2 max is not just about the lungs. A lot of people think big lungs equals high VO2 max. It's not really that way. Your lungs are only the entry point. The real question is, can oxygen successfully travel through the entire chain? Let me explain. The first step is you inhale oxygen. Your lungs transfer oxygen into the bloodstream. Your heart pumps oxygen-rich blood, and then your blood vessels deliver oxygen to the tissues. The last step is mitochondria uses oxygen to create ATP. Every one of those steps matters. If one step is weakened, the entire system is weak. Here's an interesting analogy, the Amazon delivery system. Imagine ordering a package online. It's not enough for Amazon to own warehouses. The package must move through the entire logistics chain: warehouse, truck, distribution center, local driver, your front porch. If one step fails, delivery fails. VO2 max works exactly the same way. Your lungs are the warehouse. Your heart is the transportation hub. Your blood vessels are the highways. Your mitochondria are the final destination where the energy actually gets produced. So when VO2 max improves, it often means the entire oxygen transportation network becomes more efficient, the whole network. That's why it correlates so strongly with health. So let's extend this into longevity, why it predicts longevity. VO2 max doesn't just measure exercise performance, although I think you should train it now for the benefits you have right now today. It measures systemic function, and humans age through declining system capacity. So as we age, your mitochondrial efficiency drops and cardiac output drops, blood vessel elasticity drops, muscle mass drops, oxygen utilization drops. Those are all optional, but that's generally what happens. And VO2 max is essentially capturing all of that decline in a single number. And that's why low VO2 max strongly predicts cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, frailty, metabolic dysfunction, and mortality. And high VO2 max strongly predicts the opposite, not because cardio is magical, but because the body itself remains capable. So one of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that VO2 max is only about physical performance, but it's not. And this is why it's so important for you as a leader. VO2 max is deeply connected to cognitive performance, especially under stress. And if you're in a leadership role, that matters enormously, because leadership is not just about decision making. Leadership is sustained decision making under pressure, having the right emotional presence to actually lead your people. That requires energy, and your brain consumes an extraordinary amount of energy relative to its size. And it's highly sensitive to oxygen delivery and blood flow and inflammation and glucose regulation and sleep quality and mitochondrial function, all the things connected to aerobic fitness. This is one of the reasons many executives unknowingly operate in a constant state of reduced cognitive capacity. How they keep doing their jobs, who knows? Because you're sleeping poorly because of stress. Your recovery is poor. Your cardiovascular system is deconditioned. Your stress load is enormous, and your physiology slowly loses the ability to efficiently produce energy. What does that look like in real life? Brain fog, reduced emotional regulation. You need that as a leader. Shorter patience. You need that too. Poor thinking or poor strategic thinking, decision fatigue, lower creativity. These are all the foundational pieces necessary to be a great leader. You start seeing leaders become more reactive emotionally instead of strategic, not necessarily because they lack intelligence, but because the biological system supporting clear thought is underpowered. And this is where VO2 max becomes incredibly important, because when you improve VO2 max, you're improving the body's ability to deliver oxygen and nutrients efficiently through the entire system, including the brain. You definitely can improve VO2 max as you get older. It's not something that is because you're aging. It is correlated to aging. So just think that through for a minute. If you accumulate knowledge and wisdom, and at the same time, this is how I see the opportunity, you improve your aerobic capacity, think more oxygen delivery to your brain, you'll have the best of both worlds. You keep your experience, but you suddenly are able to perform at a higher level, because you're going to be improving your cardiac output, you're improving your mitochondrial function, you improve blood flow, you improve metabolic flexibility, you're improving recovery capacity, and that all increases the brain's ability to maintain clarity under load. You need that. This is one of the reasons many people report something interesting after improving aerobic capacity. They don't just feel physically better, they feel like they think better. Some of the most seemingly intelligent people I know are actually triathletes or long distance runners, marathon runners. They have tremendous aerobic capacity as a result of their training. So they're doing it because of the challenge. They think they're training for their sport, but what they're also training for is their business. They're training their brain, or at least they're enabling their brain to perform at a higher level. And physiologically speaking, I'm not suggesting that you go out and run a marathon, because it can come with a broad range of problems like orthopedic issues. But I'm suggesting that you pursue the benefits that aerobic athletes receive by training for higher VO2 max scores. Your meetings will feel less draining. Your stress feels more manageable. Your complex problems feel easier to organize mentally. Your emotional volatility decreases. There, you'll have more reserve for your brain. And that reserve matters tremendously in leadership. You know this because high level leadership is essentially prolonged exposure to uncertainty and complexity and stress. And the human brain performs differently depending on the energetic resources available to it. A leader with poor physiological reserve may survive pressure, but they often lose clarity under pressure. A leader with strong aerobic capacity can maintain clearer thought deeper into that stress. That's a massive competitive advantage for a leader, especially when you consider that over many decades. So when people hear VO2 max training, they often picture athletes. But increasingly, I view it as executive infrastructure, not because leaders need to become marathon runners, but because the brain is an energy intensive organ and leadership is an energy intensive position and responsibility. And the better your physiology becomes at producing and distributing energy, the greater your capacity to think clearly when the stakes are high. All right, one more analogy. Think about two cars. One has a tiny weak engine, the other has a powerful, efficient engine. Now imagine both cars driving 40 miles an hour. The weak engine is strained, higher, really high RPMs, and it's loud and it's overheating. The powerful engine barely notices. Humans work similarly. Someone with low VO2 max experiences ordinary life as physiologically stressful. Stairs feel harder, stress feels bigger, recovery takes longer, sleep quality worsens under load. But someone with high aerobic capacity has more physiological reserve. Daily life consumes a smaller percentage of their total capability. And that reserve is incredibly protective biologically and incredibly powerful strategically. Think longevity or longer health span. Now, we've talked about VO2 max and the mitochondria. They're intimately connected. Mitochondria are the energy producing structure inside cells. You can think of them as microscopic power plants. And oxygen is one of the main ingredients they use to create ADP efficiently. ATP being the primary energy currency your cells use to power virtually everything your body does. So, high VO2 max often reflects greater mitochondrial density. So, literally, more power plants in your muscle tissue, your brain tissue, healthier mitochondria itself, better oxygen utilization inside of the mitochondria, and stronger energy production in general, which matters because energy production is life itself. Healing requires energy, thinking requires energy, hormone production requires energy, recovery requires energy, even emotional resilience is partly energetic. People think fatigue is just mental. Many times it's physiological energy limitation. Okay, I'm going to talk to you briefly about why modern life lowers VO2 max. It quietly destroys aerobic capacity. Sedentary behavior, obviously, chronic stress, obviously, poor sleep, artificial environments, low movement variability. Most people spend their lives understimulating their cardiovascular system, and the body adapts downward. Your body's highly adaptive. It's always asking, what capacity do I actually need to survive this moment or this environment? And the answer is, in our current environment, not much. Well, our bodies don't need to do much. So your physiology shrinks accordingly. And that's why so many people struggle with being so unhealthy. There's lower mitochondrial density, lower stroke volume in your heart, lower endurance, lower resilience. And modern convenience creates biological deconditioning. It's the same thing with modern comforts. And unfortunately, many people don't discover this until stress finally exceeds their physical reserve. And that's when burnout happens, health crashes, cardiovascular events happen, people get sick, or in some cases die. I prefer to look at the opportunity here, though, because there's the other end of the spectrum where you can just be bigger, more of how you were designed to be by pulling these physical levers. So let's wrap this up. The reason VO2 max matters isn't because everyone should become an endurance athlete. It matters because VO2 max reflects something much deeper: the capacity of the human organism to create and sustain energy under stress. That's what this is all about. And that capacity influences almost everything: resilience, cognition, recovery, aging, disease resistance, physical independence, stress tolerance. VO2 max is not just a fitness metric. It's one of the clearest windows we have into how robust your physiology actually is measured. And once you understand that, You stop viewing cardio as punishment like me. You start viewing aerobic capacity as infrastructure for life itself. And so when I'm sitting on the Airdyne bike and I'm getting my zone 2 cardio in or my VO2 max training in, and I don't have any distractions, no podcast that I'm listening to, nothing, that's what I'm thinking. I'm viewing aerobic capacity as infrastructure for life itself. If you like today's podcast, go ahead and click like and subscribe. And if you'd like to learn more about Stark, you can find us at stark.health. That's stark.health.